I think we've been juggling between also the question of resources utilization, how can we get more of our resources, and to that effect, are we utilizing our resources in an optimal way? To that effect, Mr. Mohamad Alhamwi, Deputy Managing Director of Engineering Technique Services Facilities Management, is going to discuss that topic with us and give us his insight on what ETS are doing in order to optimally utilize their resources.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Just as Mr. Tariq mentioned, I'm coming from a company called Engineering Technique Services. We are in the field of field services in UAE since more than 20 years. Mainly we start as pest control company, then we start to develop ourselves to have some other field services like building maintenance and interior fit out and some other parts. The main topics which I want to share with you and to discuss it with you is the utilization of the manpower. Actually, for us in the field services, this is really a nightmare, that if I'm utilizing my manpower correctly as I should be or not. Because everybody in the field services, they will have those questions. Are we utilizing our technician as we should? How much is the profitable time of my technician? And how much is the percentage of the case resolved from the first call? This is the topic which was discussed in previous presentation. And the last question is, how much is the percentage of my SLA compliance? Those questions, as all of you in the field services, so you know it's very important to have a clear answer about it. According to some studies, we found it, and the answer was actually shocking. The utilization of the workforce, this study done for more than 200 field services company, the utilization of the workforce was 66% only. So that means I have 34% of the time of the workforce is lost, either because of the driving time or the unorganizing, the unclear picture about their schedule or their task. All those will lead to this 34% of unutilization. The other answer was that the only first time fix was 74%. That means I have 26% of repeated visit, which is consuming more from my time, from my resource, and it will also increase my cost. So this thing is supposed to have a resolution for it. And the last question, the SLA compliance, it's only 81% among those 250 field services company. So just to understand, if we are, the unutilized workforce can add extra cost to the field services company. And this also, it won't affect only the field service company, it will affect the customer, it will make impact on them, because it will affect their revenue, it will affect their productivity. Just imagine that if he's calling, as they mentioned in the example, that if they are calling and you are visiting from 4 times to solve their problem, it's affecting their productivity, so you need to find a solution that you are solving their problem from the first call. At the same time, overutilized workforce can be costly from overtime perspective. For example, if I have, my technicians' work hours is 8 hours, but if I need to overutilize them and I will let them work the maximum allowed overtime, it will be costly for me from the overtime perspective, and it will hurt my response time, because if I'm going to receive any call, I will not be able to fit it because my schedule is already full. So the service company goals supposed to not only increase the utilization in isolation mode, but it's supposed to be combination between utilization and efficiency, resolution rate, to improve the customer value. In order to do those things, you need to work in different elements. The first element, this is I think why we are here, it's using the right tools. The right tools, using it in your services, it will increase your productivity. For example, using mobile phone, it will save the time from which is wasted in filling the paperwork. All of us, if we come back to 2004, once DHL introduced the BDA on their services, on one time they give away 700 BDA to their technician. Most of the people, they were looking at them and laughing that they are spending too much money, because at that time the BDA was very much expensive. But if we come to their perspective and how they are seeing it, they save a lot of time and a lot of resource, because the information is immediately being synchronized to their offices. They don't have to waste their time back again to just enter to encode the paper, to update the information in the system. It's automatically being updated. The investment is big, but it's worth it. In some studies, we found that using the mobility in the field services will increase the productivity of the company at least 11%. This is a study done earlier in 2013. But you need to put in your consideration that the performance is not about technology only. If you are having the latest technology in the wrong hand, it will be a waste of the time. And if you have the latest technology, but your process is not right, then also it will be a waste of money. So the technology, it's a supportive tool for your process. You're supposed to have the process in the place before using any technology, because the process, it's supposed to be correct whether you are using paper and pen or using mobile phone. So another example of using the right technology, as they mentioned in previous session, using the fleet management system. The fleet management system is a very good tool for the field services, because the dispatcher can always have an on-time update about the technician, where are they exactly, and how long they need to reach to the customer. If the customer is calling and asking, he is not supposed to be confused, because he knows exactly. For us, for example, for us in ETS, we are giving our customers through the portal, they are able to access by themselves without calling, and they will know when the technician is going to arrive. So for them, it's all clear. They can just access the system and they will see that the technician, as it's shown in the system, in the presentation before, that the technician is going to arrive to me within half an hour, and this is the technician name, this is his mobile number, and always I'm getting an update about his location. But at the same time, the other point, the other element which I need to use is the right technician. Because as I said, those tools in the hand of the inexperienced technicians, it will waste my time. Just imagine if you are sending someone who has the latest tool, but he doesn't know how to do the job, so it's waste. At the same time, sending the best technician you have, but he's not well trained to use those tools, it's also embarrassing in front of the customer. If you are sending an AC technician, he fixed the AC, but he doesn't know how to use the tools to update the reports, it's embarrassing in front of the customer. So the right technician, in order to reach the right technicians, this is supposed to be to have big investment in the training. The training is about using the technology which they have, training about doing the service. As Microsoft presentation, it was mentioned that there is a skill set. So you're supposed to do this training to enhance your technician skill set, so that they will have more and more skill set on time, so that they will be able to fix for you more cases from the first call. You need also to put in your consideration, once you are scheduling or dispatching, that the nearest resource is not always the best resource, because maybe the nearest resource is overutilized, or he doesn't have the skill set which he is supposed to have. So those training and enhancement will allow you to save this much time, to use, maybe you will make all your technicians in the same skill set, so they will be able to dispatch to their work order accordingly. And the organization also supposed to always consider and take in-depth look to their technician and adjust their hiring process, how they are hiring the people, their training regimes, in order to improve their company. And the last things the service organization is supposed to do is to give access to the data which they are collecting. We are collecting a lot of data, but this data, if it's stayed there, there is no benefit from it, just if it's sitting there without sharing it with the organization. The data is supposed to be shared with all departments of organization according to their need. This is what I mean by the right level of access. For example, sales and marketing department, they will get the use of the history of the clients to complete the customer profile. At the same time, the R&D department, they will work on improving their services, or maybe if they are in manufacturing field, they will understand how to develop their products in order to serve the customer in a better way. So those data are supposed to come back to the clients, to the organization. And note that now we came just recently to a new thing which is called Industry 4. Industry 4, it's the unified interactive between all the devices, which is the previous presentations talk about, the sensors, the machines talking to each other, sensors sending data. But just to understand from where this Industry 4 came, we need to understand what was the previous three industry. The first industry was the steam power, where it's enabled mass production to be moved from the home to the factories. And the second industry was the electricity, which is increase the productivity of the company and the manufacturing ability, because it allowed them to work 24 hours. The third industry, it was the technology, where we were able to automate the machines. And the fourth industry came where we are using the IoT, the sensors, and every single thing. How this Industry 4 is going to affect the field services? The Industry 4, actually, once we are saying that the machines, they are talking to each other, once we are saying that you can implement sensor in each single unit you have without any limits. Maybe now we have some limitation, but in the future we will not have any limits to those. Once you will understand that this will reduce the downtime, if not eliminating it, and this is the goal for all the organization, is to eliminate the downtime. Because if the machine has any problem, it will just immediately send notification to the field service company to react accordingly. So no need to wait till the problem will come. Before it will happen, we will get to know that this is going to happen. So we are predicting the problem instead of just anticipating it. There will be no more pre-planned visit, because I'm not going to visit. For example, for instance, in the AC maintenance company, or for us in pest control company, we have more than 100,000 of monitoring points allocated all over the UAE, which was consuming from our time. Monthly, we have to send our technician to go and check them one by one. But now, thanks to the IoT, we are placing on them just sensor, so I don't have to arrange pre-planned visit. Just the monitoring point which has a problem, it will send me a notification. I'm just watching it in the dashboard. The resource, they are just watching the dashboard, and they will get the information that this particular monitoring points need to have attention. So instead of visiting hundreds of thousands, maybe they will visit 1,000 only, and which will save my resource, which will save my cost. Eventually, it will save the cost for the customer. Same example as we said, the AC, and there is multiple examples for that. For the field services also, for using the newest technology, we saw now, it's not that much familiar here in UAE, but we saw it in other country, where the technician right now is having part of the tools which is in his van is the drone. Because the drone, it will save the time and it will reduce the risk, especially in inspection of the high places. For example, just imagine Burj Khalifa, that someone is going, all of us, we saw the video, the person who's going to check in the top, how much it's risky for him just to go there. If we are replacing it by one person just standing on the ground and he's flying up a drone and it's giving exactly the same report a person will give. Only he's going up to do maintenance if it's needed. He's not supposed to go every time just to check if there is a problem or not. So what we're supposed to react in these things, the history is telling us that the changes and the revolution which is happening in the industry, that there is some revolution which is taking concentrated time, and there is some revolution which is taking longer time, and this is one of them. But the one which is taking longer time, the impact of it will be more higher than the other one. So you need, as a field services, to react immediately. Some will say that, is that possible that the technician will be no more needed. They will just sit and they will be replaced in the machine. I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. But from the way that we will see, from the way we are seeing the field services, in the way that we know it, it will not be any longer existed after some time. It will be changed. So we have to adapt those things. We have to adapt the technology in our field services. Every one of us is supposed to just go and analyze his field services. What is it? How can I use the technology in order to utilize my resource, in order to adapt the new technology? Because if you did not react now, you will find yourself after some time that you are out of the competition because someone else is already reacting accordingly. As we saw, Farnec, they already in the part of IoT and more. So we supposed to consider this development and this revolution in our field services to reduce the cost, to increase the utilization, to increase the first time fix, and also to increase our SLA compliance. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, Mohamad, thank you very much for the presentation. Do you have questions for Mohamad? Okay, so actually it's very interesting that Mohamad is wrapping up actually in his presentation the entire day because he's talking about his own experience as ETS and what they have done and how they use technology. So also IoT, so a lot of different things, and mainly how this is helping ETS and potentially yourselves on using the technology and having the visibility and really having efficient use of staff and tools. So it's not just using technology, it's also a process as we've seen across the day. So with that, we're actually concluding our day. I really like to thank you very much for the time that you've given us today. And I hope it was worth your while and it was beneficial for you. And we hope to continue to stay in touch. If you have any inquiries to any of the speakers or to us as Link Development, please feel free to contact us. And I would like to actually thank the speakers for their time and effort and the preparation that they did and the insights and knowledge that they shared with all of us. With that, we'll be concluding our day with actually, we'll be inviting you to lunch. And the lunch will be downstairs in our best restaurant, and we'll be leading you to that restaurant so we have lunch together and be able to also to network with the amazing people that we have today in the room to share our experiences and to see how we can take our work to the next level together. And we hope that you'll get the experiences and knowledge shared from that presentation back to your work and you're able to take your organizations to the next level, and we're actually looking forward to be part of that also as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you down at lunch in our best restaurant.